Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Bloom in Blood, our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, right here on Rolling Nomads. I am your storyteller for tonight's evening. That's not a sentence that makes sense. I'm your storyteller for this evening, Gilbert Ramos, aka Ramos the Nomad. And I have no announcements. If there were announcements, they would have been at the very beginning or before we even showed up on your screens. So, without further ado, let's get to the people you're actually here to see, our players. And we'll begin in the gesture that I can see and you can see, that the players can't see, over to my top left, Friday.
Yep, I'm Abby. I'm your local Dana nerd, but tonight I am going to be your local gargoyle, Friday, who is doing politics. I may not be going wild in the club, but I sure am going wild somewhere. How going there?
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. And then over to my top right, Kaida.
Hello, everyone. I'm Larissa Ray. You can find me all over the internet as such. But tonight, this evening, I will be playing Kaida, the Samitsi, who is absolutely not committing treason. We're just having talks.
That's how treason starts, but sure. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. Down to my bottom left, Lola.
Hello, hi, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on all the social medias. And for this time zone, for this game, I will be playing one Lola Torres, Malkavian Primogen, Bahari Curious. We'll see.
Bahari Curious. Put it on a t-shirt. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. Down to my bottom right, last but certainly not least, Remy.
This is Asterisk VTuber, or Aster, and I am playing Remy, the Nephilim Toreador, that has a lot of change of clothes. So we're changing clothes again.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. With that, with our players and our characters having been met, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode of Bloom in Blood. And we begin each episode, as we always do, with a recap. Now again, like I said, eventually I will assign this task to somebody else, maybe. We'll see how cruel I feel later throughout my tenure here. But today, I will be giving you a recap, straight from the omnipotent horse's mouth. So, last time we saw our kindred, they had officially formed their coterie before leaving Remy's Haven. They shared information with one another regarding the burning at Studio 145, with Lola having admitted to Remy that it may have been her ex Nathaniel Vale that started the fire. Now, Studio 145 is not entirely burnt up and destroyed. It is, however, incredibly damaged and now under investigation. To be included in the damage is Zoe, Remy's touchstone, who had been working on an art installation there. Is all of her work up in smoke. As this information has been shared and the coterie have been formed, the two groups split up, with Lola and Friday having gone to meet with Nathaniel so that they could speak a little bit more about the incident at the Midnight Oasis Bakery. And Kaida and Remy had departed to run over to comfort Zoe in this trying time. At Midnight Oasis, Friday obfuscated and followed Lola inside, where Nathaniel was playing the charming ex-boyfriend, speaking with Roman and Danny. Upon arriving, Lola dismissed the two kind, so that Nathaniel and Lola could speak alone. As they did, several key pieces of information were discovered. Nathaniel shrugged off the accusations that Lola levied against him, claiming that there was also a fire in Mesa the night prior, and that perhaps those two were connected. During the conversation, Nate also revealed that something was found in Goodyear, something that they believe that the prince is after or looking for. They intend, and by they I mean Nathaniel and his Anarch buddies, to include one newcomer named Julian, intend to use this by acquiring it from its holding facility, luring out the prince out of his havens and his places of safety, and killing him in cold blood. The issue is, whatever object this is, they don't exactly know what it is. The second issue being, they know for certain that it is an SI, within an SI holding facility. A forward operating base holds whatever treasure the prince is looking for. Nathaniel seems to be intent on this plan of action. Lola didn't seem to be too confident in his plan. And so, with you having arguments and not really seeing eye to eye, Nathaniel left, bidding Lola to join him in Goodyear when she saw some sense. He even offered to drop the address of one of his safe spots, his locations that his Anarch friends are holding up at. While this conversation was happening, though, Friday had been dutifully recording this to be used against him in the future if need be. And as he left, Friday, still obfuscated, followed behind him to gather further information as he left. While he was leaving, he received a phone call. More information about the fire in Mesa. A certain book was found, only called The Book. And as Friday was obfuscated, she learned more about the fire. It was said there was possibly kindred involved. And as Nathaniel got off the phone, he exclaimed, "The fucking Sabbat," before vanishing from Friday's sight. Meanwhile, a cup runneth over. Remy and Kaida comforted Zoe before Roman arrived, and Remy and Zoe discussed the future, what it meant to be artists, and what it meant to give your art to the people. Zoe was taking this loss as a very difficult loss, and as Roman arrived, Remy and Kaida left to meet up with Friday and Lola to exchange further information. As the two were meeting in front of Cup Runneth Over, however, Elena, the sheriff of the Phoenix metropolitan area, discovered Lola and bid her to go speak with the prince, as well as exchanging phone information so that she could be summoned more easily. After this occurrence, the two groups convened once more at Hesperus before deciding what to do. We left our kindred having divided once more, with Lola and Kaida deciding to go speak with the prince to share certain information. What information that might be remains to be seen. And Friday and Remy departed to go speak with Patamuster, the other missing Primogen, last night at Elysium, to discover what his motives and what secrets he might have uncovered at St. Basil's. We join now two kindred, Friday and Remy, as you guys are driving to St. Basil's Hospital. I'll turn the scene over to you for any conversation or plan that might need to be hashed out before you make your arrival.
First things first, right before I leave, everybody notices that I go and change at Hesperus before I walk out. And this time, earthy colors, a little bit of a jacket, but more a warmer style of jacket with a rougher material, and also a kimono, a brown kimono, as he kind of walks out and continues forward. As he steps in the car, once more opening the door for Friday as well, and making sure that everything is set up. He starts the engine, and do you understand why we are doing this?
Friday, who is in all of her baggy clothes, worn, bit dusty, buckling herself in. No, not really. Is it a social call? A mix of a social call? I'm not really good at this sort of thing.
Essentially, a social call, yes. It is an unfortunate symptom of being a kindred that if you keep yourself obscure, instead of finding yourself in less trouble, you find yourself in more trouble, simply because everybody have questions about you. With me, I try to be as far away from the politics as possible, but yet still with my finger on the pulse of everything.
Almost like a sentinel. A gargoyle, dare I say. My sire had a very similar view of things. She thought getting into the politics of it all was productive and didn't do anything to help further our cause or our survival. But there's only so much you can do if you watch, I guess.
Exactly. Once people think you are on the sidelines for a little bit too long, they tend to get suspicious. So we go and talk, and we make friends. It's been a while, but I am curious as to why he missed out on Elysium.
Can't imagine everyone's happy with the new prince. Still seems pretty risky to risk his ire the first week in town, I suppose.
Well, that, and the fact that Patermuster is busy. I think there are more things that he deals with than everybody else, but at the same time, I don't have the specifics on his particular network. But he works in a hospital, so...
Whatever it is, it's blood. And in that case, we're putting our ears to the pulse and getting a sound for it.
Exactly. I kind of lean into my chair. How did you find your way here?
Friday's a little taken aback. She stiffens a bit in her seat. To Phoenix, you mean? Truth be told, it was the first big city, enough for a place for me to hide in. There were a few farming towns across New Mexico, Arizona that I could have stayed in, but wanted to keep a low profile. After the SI flushed out my flock and took us somewhere. I don't know, something about this place called me. This land, this place of opportunity. There was something left with me when I died. And she pulls up one of her many sleeves to reveal her turquoise bracelet, inlaid in silver. I think I might be able to find out who I was before all this.
And all of that draws you to Phoenix.
A perfect storm, dare I say. Might be a tad personal, but do you remember what being alive is like, perchance?
It was shit.
Oh,
Some memories are best left forgotten.
maybe so. And Friday is gonna put her hands in her lap and just fidget. It's something she's been grasping for such a while. To think that another kindred would be so eager to leave that behind. That unplaced puzzle piece for Friday. It's boggling. She can understand why Remy wants to, and she'll tap a nervous wrist with her fingers as they pull up to the hospital.
As I get out of the car, I kind of like lean back in and just... If it's not just a little project or anything, but after all this mess is over, I will help you. You will remember. If that's what you want.
You don't have to. I mean, it's a pretty big ordeal. There are a lot of missing faces, I imagine, in a city like this, but I would be very grateful. Thank you, Remy.
And I will open the door for her.
Treat her like a princess, this nasty little thing scrambling out of your car.
You can do this. Remy, what you know of St. Basil's is, as you've been here longer than most, is that it's a crowded, underfunded Catholic hospital that began as a psychiatric facility. it was corrupt even before the Kindred moved in, with multiple scandals involving patient abuse, embezzlement, and accounting fraud that reached the local papers. It's... Looking at it now, it doesn't look like it's changed. It's dingy. It's a Baroque monstrosity that looks like an invader from an older and darker city back east. Its bricks are discolored, its windows high and narrow, and one sort of doomed attempt to modernize the structure just makes it look like a prison with a single watchtower of dingy glass and black steel. You can feel the sickness emanating off of St. Basil's, and the impossibility of healing. You make your way to the main entrance, and it's not much better inside. The receptionist's desk is behind maybe shatterproof glass or bulletproof glass, you're not entirely sure. There's a single private security guard standing by an elevator. Everyone inside looks sort of grayed out, almost miserable, as if the color is being sucked away from them. The receptionist looks up from some paperwork and just attempts to smile, but it comes off more as a plea. And she says, "Can I help you?"
Seeing that, I'm gonna activate awe. And I'm just going to give what as heartfelt of a smile as possible back. And just, I believe you can, actually. I'm looking for Patermuster. I wanted to speak with him. Could you help me, lead me to where he is, or at least let him know that I'm here?
With the activation of awe, she is immortal, and she's not expecting this. She looks up and sort of straightens up a bit and says, "Yeah, I can let him know. Do you want anything while you wait? We don't have... The vending machine's broken out there, but we have a fridge in back here that's full of, like, soda and, those, like, what are they called? Like, the bubble drinks? The cans, not like boba or anything like, but, like, the bubble, like, BUBLE.
Well, no, I'm fine, but did you want anything from the vending machine? My treat, for being so helpful.
Oh, like I said, it's broken. I've got things. No, I'm okay. I'll let.
Got pretty long arms. I could fish something out for you if you'd like. Friday and her little creepy, gangly self, complete opposite to this glowing midnight sun over here.
Yeah, I'll say Friday, it's she doesn't seem bothered by you, really. Maybe it's the effects of Remy's awe, or maybe it's the fact that the hospital likely has seen some, well, frankly, grotesque things. She doesn't seem bothered really by you, but she looks to you, Friday, and says, "No, I'm all right. I'll let Dr. Patermuster know you're here."
Thank you. We'll wait then. And I'll just casually find my way a seat in the waiting room.
There are
You have got to show me that trick.
In due time.
There are individuals here in the waiting room that are sort of slumped down, waiting to be seen as well. They are not, you're not in the emergency room entrance or anything like that, but there's just people that are, it's that hospital waiting room vibe where it's cold and people are coughing every once in a while. It feels like there's germs in the air. doesn't quite feel sterile, and the building itself seems to sort of feed on it. And you wait for a minute or two, and to make sure that I'm clear, Remy, are you keeping all up?
Yes.
Understood. You're, quickly, not exactly like bombarded, but people are staring at you. And the bolder ones kind of move a little bit closer, not really willing to sit next to you. But the bolder ones move a few seats closer or attempt to like make eye contact, trying to be subtle. And within a few moments, your name, well, you didn't give her your name, but you're called and says, Patermuster's visitors?
I stand up. Let's go, Friday. And then I'll walk towards the area.
You're ushered back through double doors and upstairs, up through an elevator. Up through an elevator and down a hall. One of the nurses makes sort of chit-chat and conversation about nothing, Remy. Simply just working at the hospital and how it's busy today, things like that. But you're brought to a simple office. The grayed out glass for privacy doesn't even have Patermuster's name here. But you enter, and it is an eclectic area. There is a collection of things. It looks like an altar of sorts to almost a century's worth of executive power idols. There's a shining mahogany desk, mid-century modern lighting fixtures, to those little chrome clicking balls that are on his desk. All of these things that accumulate that you would see in a movie of this that depicts a CEO's office. It's just a hodgepodge of, again, power idols. Door closes behind you, and you see Patermuster sitting in his chair wearing scrubs. His stethoscope around his neck. He is a darker-skinned man, a fade on the sides of his head. A little bit of stubble on his chin. His eyes are sharp. He looks tired.
How many years has it been, Patermuster?
More than I care to count, Remy. To what do I owe the pleasure?
I figured there's enough shake-up around town that I would come and visit some of my old friends.
And who is this, if I might ask?
I'll kind of gesture. This is Friday. A new friend.
Yeah, I guess I run the hotel downtown.
Oh, you're the new proprietor of the Renaissance.
That's me. Hi.
Welcome. Can I offer you anything?
Oh, I ate before I got here, but thank you very much. That was very kind.
How are things?
Busy, as I'm sure you've seen in the waiting room, but it's worse within the hospital itself.
What about with the new management?
Is that what you come to discuss, Remy?
Not necessarily discuss, just curious.
I'm keeping to my own and continuing my own path. You know better than most that I always kept to my hospital and kept to the downtrodden, the people that need their assistance.
Yes.
Don't get much thin bloods anymore.
Yes. I heard that was one of the things that they, a lot of them got ran out of the city.
Think that they're afraid. The tower doesn't exactly have a shining reputation for their kind.
No, not at all. Is that
Still.
a reason? Is that the reason that you didn't come to Elysium?
I was indisposed.
Of course. Then you still have heard, though.
I'm afraid I haven't heard much of anything the past few nights. Is there news that I should be aware of?
Long story short, the prince of named is Primogen.
Has he?
The Malkavian Lola. You remember her.
Vaguely. One of Lydia's brood.
Exactly. And, well, what was it? Daniela Barca, one of the newer Toreadors around the area. Quite new, actually. She was named Primogen. My Primogen. Apparently.
I see. Are... Unexpected.
I wasn't the only one that was passed over so unexpectedly, though. Raoul was also passed over for Ventru Primogen in favor of someone who had quite the welcome speech for themselves.
Renee.
Have you ever heard? Renee, yes.
I've met them.
What are your opinions?
He glances kind of over at you, Friday. And as a brief reminder, I encourage wits and insight at any point. You guys don't have to wait for me to ask for it.
I'm absolutely wits and inciting this man. I feel like it's Cold War right now.
By all means, go ahead and give me wits and insight.
Wits and insight. Insight 0, because I took too much Tylenol when I was a child. 2 successes.
Not too difficult to read that little look, Friday. He doesn't know if he can speak entirely freely. Patermaster's been here for a while. Maybe not as long as Remy, but he might feel comfortable speaking to Remy if you weren't here. He just doesn't know you quite well enough. And it's easily read that he's kind of weighing the room.
He wants to see if I'm going to tattle on the prince.
Do you say that out loud?
No, Friday is thinking that, but out loud, Friday will say, "Don't get me wrong, I think Mix Cortez is certainly suited for the position, but their homewarming manners could use a little wash up."
He seems to relax a bit. Go on, Remy.
I consider her my coterie mate, by the way. I just kind of gesture at Friday.
Remy.
She'll shrug.
I haven't known you to ever be a part of Coterie.
New times. I try. And new clothes and, well, this seems like a new phase that I might like to get used to.
Teaching an old dog new tricks. If she's your coterie, then she's welcome here, of course. And if we're speaking earnestly, I don't trust Renee. I don't trust most of the people that the prince has put into these positions.
I figured the prince made a pretty big deal of putting Renee down, sure. Honored position and all, Primogen, all that nonsense, but it was pretty humiliating the way he came in and talked them down after they showed up at the hotel. Tore up half the Renaissance looking for me.
I had heard that there was a sort of loose sort of hunt. I'm glad that you came out on top. But no, I
Nothing
don't.
if not efficient.
I don't trust these people. None of them. I think you'd be a fool to do so.
I think the worst part of it all is that it feels like Phoenix being controlled or being looked after by the people that never knew the heart of the city.
Of
Feels
that,
squandered.
I agree. There's something deeply wrong in Phoenix. This whole area, Remy. There's a lot of questions I have that don't get answers, even with the elevation. I never aspired to join the Camarilla. Never aspired to be Primogen. But I'd be lying if I said that the position didn't come with perks. But it is interesting to see how few they are compared to what I expected.
Indeed. One of my Coterie is actually Lola, the new Malkavian Primogen, and hopefully she could shed some light on all of this as well, but the problem isn't the people that is here. The problem isn't the prince, in my opinion, either. The problem is when you have questions from within, how are you supposed to deal with the situations coming from outside?
Speak plainly, Remy. Believe it or not, I am practicing here. And I've just done a surgery earlier tonight. I'm fresh out of neurons to fire.
I've heard rumors of threats, even more so than when this was an anarch-free state. This coming off the laurels of us swapping hands. If we can't unite on this front, and we have all these people that don't know the city standing in place of all of this place of and power and whatnot, how are we supposed to fend off against any outside threats?
What outside threats do you think we're facing, Remy? There's, of course, the rumors.
Not just my gallery. There are other fires. What's happening in Goodyear, Mesa. We all, and you and I both know that ever since the first clearing out, let's say, Teodoro and everybody, the SI never left.
Doesn't speak for a while. He weighs your words. It looks like he's working something out. Are you concerned about the rumors that surround Prince Montalvo? Or just the Second Inquisition?
I'm less concerned of any rumors concerning, concerned of those rumors, simply because what can we do? But any direct threat to any of us, the fear that I have of Prince Montalvo and the fear that I have of the primogen that he chose is that they don't have the stake. They don't have the stake to defend us. What stops them from up and leaving? Renee, I remember. Where was she before Columbus? Where was they before Columbus?
North of the
They were just
border,
here.
Canada, if I recall. Lots of boots and I'm sorry's, despite the vicious hunt for me through the vents.
Precisely.
The only one of them that's worth a damn is Elena. Even
And it's the
Che, I
only one
don't.
that we know.
Even Che, I don't understand. But Che's been here longer than both of us, I think.
Yes. Well, longer than me means that Shay has seen this place swap hands more than anybody else can count. I'm not suggesting any sort of open conflict. I'm actually suggesting against that. But there are question marks that need to be answered before we know where we point our spear.
Give me a persuasion roll, Remy. Friday, you've spoken enough and backed this conversation up enough that you may absolutely give the help action if you'd like.
Absolutely. And the way Friday is going to do that is she's just going to unbutton one of her leather jackets and pop out one of her bat-like wings, revealing in that membrane, that strange, dusty, rocky membrane, that there is a notch taken out. Trust me when I talk about the Second Inquisition. We're going to need everyone in a united front. They don't play easy games.
Remind me what I get for the help.
You're gonna get an extra die to roll.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of dice. Okay,
Go to your door, boy. Go to your door, boy. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
that's a crit, so 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 10 successes with a crit.
He hears you, Remy, and he looks at Friday. He looks at your wing. I'd like to show you both something. Something that needs to remain private. If you'd follow me. He stands up,
Of course.
goes to his door. Before he opens it, he stops and says, I didn't know what I accepted. Remy, you have to understand that. I didn't know
Of course.
what I agreed to when I accepted this position.
Lola doesn't even know now.
He nods, he opens the door, and the three of you make your way down the hall. And our sight fades from you as we move across the city through the lights and the stars. The angry drivers. We find ourselves with Kaida and Lola pulling up to the Phoenix Arena. The scene is yours, ladies.
Lola parks the car and kind of taps her fingers on the wheel for a second before saying, I really hope I don't screw us over tonight.
You will do no such thing. Remember, you are capable. We simply are here to learn what the prince is willing to tell us, gauge his responses, and in the end, protect ourselves from what the real problem is. You can do this, and I will be there with you.
Yeah. Alright, let's get this over with. And I'll unbuckle and get out of the car. And I'll actually open Kaida's door for her.
She will grin a little bit and then gracefully get out of the car. Yeah, I think there is a moment where she thinks maybe I'll leave my phone in the car. But no, perhaps tonight she'll play by some rules that might help us in our endeavors. And so she will follow side by side with Lola.
You do this. There's no event tonight at the stadium, at the arena. So it's simply parking in the parking lot area and getting past the security that's supposed to keep this quiet. But Lola, you're Primogen, and those that guard this area, that guard Elysium, most of them are on Montalvo's payroll. Most of them are ghouls. They recognize you. They let you park. They give you directions if you'd like to not be seen going into Elysium. And you can make your way.
She'll take the whatever the public entrance is, not trying to hide that she's here.
Understood.
From other kindred, at least.
You do this. The escalator still moves up. The stairs are still free. It's quiet here, which is strange. This whole building is silent. You move, get to the hallway, you see Suite 1. The doors are closed, but not locked. And as you push through, it's empty in the main area. That small off room, the doors are cracked open. You can hear two voices. What would you like to do?
Before and two things. Are the blood dolls are there blood dolls present?
There are a few in the same room, that same little offshoot, the door, or the room with no doors. Where the blood dolls are kind of lounging, having some water. There's a television, obviously, in that room. They're watching TV.
Well, I would like to feed before speaking to the prince, so Lola will turn to Kaida and say, "You hungry?"
Yes.
Should probably freshen up before we speak to the prince.
There's a moment where she looks at Lola, and it's this thing of, you understand I would be feeding from you. Like, do you understand the weight of that almost, is how she's looking at you. But then she just smiles, just gives you a nod, and will follow along. But also, I would like to be listening, because you said there's two voices. Do I recognize those voices?
What's an awareness roll, please?
Oh, yeah, all right.
Well, I'm doing Kaida is rolling that. Is there something? Would I know if Kaida's feeding type is a secret from most people, or should be kept a secret?
Would Lydia have taught you about blood leeches?
That's a question for the ST.
Lydia would have let you know, especially with Ban Hakim being present in the city at the time of your creation. Lydia would have taught you about blood leeches and not just the nature of blood leeches, but the dangers of feeding from other kindred. You're not without knowledge here. Most people's, for your guys' knowledge, The way I see predator types is that's your preferred feeding style, right? Unless there's like a prey exclusion, which I believe Bloodleech does have, you can
Mhm.
feed however you like. It's just the predator type is just how you prefer to feed. With prey exclusion, obviously, that's a little that's something more private, I imagine. That's something that I think that Kaida likely would have kept quiet. And I don't imagine most blood leeches are very open about that.
Yeah. I was just double checking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she will get very close and she will say to you, Kaida is tall. And she gets so close that you guys are almost like chest to chest. And she leans forward and whispers in your ear. Unlike other kindred, I can only feed from kindred. So when you offer yourself, understand what that means.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay.
This is something just between you and me.
Yeah.
Yes. So, why don't you freshen up? Get what you need. I will be fine.
I'll nod. And I will, head over to the blood dolls. I don't want to distract from Kaido's role, though.
Oh, yeah, 4
Balance.
successes, sorry. 4 successes.
Understood. 4 successes. And Lola, how much are you feeding? How many points are you hoping to select? 2? Easily done. There are 3 individuals here. That's not going to leave them anemic or anything. 1 point each from 2 of them. Guided with 4 successes, you recognize the voices. It's difficult to pick up what they're saying, but you can hear Che's voice alongside Prince Matava's.
And just one final thing. Does it sound like aggressive speech or calm?
With 4 successes, like I said, it's difficult to pick up what they're saying, but the tones, easily just information being exchanged. Just sort of a report, I guess, is the best way I can put this.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I will just wait kind of just outside the door of where Lola is feeding.
You see, as Lola feeds, Che emerges, and eyes immediately peeking out from the shadow of his hat, pinpoint to you, Kaida, and kind of tilts his head. Welcome. I didn't even hear you come in. That's quite the feat.
Light on my feet is all. I am here with the Primogen. We would like to speak to the prince.
Which one?
She does not say anything as she kind of hears like the feeding's about to end and she knows Lola's going to walk out and she doesn't say anything, but she just keeps her eyes locked onto Chase. And there's this exchange almost of like ancient sees ancient, you know? And she's not appraising him by any means. But she's looking into his eyes because she knows she cannot trust his face.
Give me what's insight.
Okay. Same amount of die. All right. I saw us 3 successes.
3 successes. Che is appraising you. He's weighing you a bit. And it's not, you don't think it's personal. You think that this is just how he looks at the world. that he's just weighing the worth and weighing the grit of people.
Mm.
As Lola, as you step out from feeding, you can see the grin, the flash of Fang. Miss Torres.
Hey. Good evening.
Good evening. Prince Montalvo has been eagerly awaiting your arrival.
Yes, I'm happy to have finally been able to receive the call.
Well, lucky for you, it's a slow night, so you can have a private conversation.
Excellent. Well, we shouldn't keep him waiting any longer, Kaida.
She nods, and as she passes by Che, she gives him a wink and will enter in after Lola.
He steps behind you, doesn't step into the room, but keeping the door open, he kind of watches, and you can see the prince in that black suit with the red trim peeks up from what looks like this sort of dossier, this manila folder that he closes. Miss Torres. Ida,
Prince Montalvo. You summoned me.
please take a seat. Che, that'll be all. You may continue your duties. Che nods. Of course, my prince. And he leaves. The doors are still open as he withdraws.
Haida is gonna get up, or rather, before she sits down, she's gonna go over and she's gonna shut the door. And then she'll sit down.
Understood. I need to make a roll real quick.
Hmm? Yeah, kind of said, listen, I know your type. Slam.
The door closes, and Prince Montalvo moves the manila folder to his right and says, I was hoping to speak with you about this business at Studio 145.
I see. How can I be of... She pauses for a moment and then says, service.
I was unaware that the two of you knew one another.
We met at Elysium. Became fast friends.
I see. Highly unorthodox of me to spread the information past Primogen. But Kaida, as you and I have had a conversation previously, you granted certain privileges. This will keep the room.
Of course.
Of course.
I called on you specifically, not just because you're Primogen, but because you were seen leaving Remy the night of the announcement. And so I wondered if you knew of anything at his businesses and his holdings. Any enemies that he might have made. Anyone that he might be upsetting in the city.
I also met Remy at Elysium, becoming fast friends. But not fast enough to know the ins and outs of his social life and his potential list of enemies.
And Miss Kaida, do you have anything to add? Is there anyone you think that might have targeted our dear Remy?
As you know, I work at one of his clubs. No, I've not seen anything that would be categorized as enemies there.
I understand that Daniela Barca runs and owns and operates another club, the Ward, and has been a sort of business rival with Remy for some time. With his announcement and her ascension to the council, I was curious if this was some sort of infighting, some sort of gloating amongst the Clan of Roses.
I could not imagine that Danielle's other boss, Miss Vorman, would take kindly to such squabbling in the realm of business, so I don't foresee that being an issue,
Well,
personally.
Miss Vorman is persona non grata, especially in this city.
I think perhaps. Well, from what I've seen at Elysium of Miss Danielle, I don't think she's interested in making enemies with Remy. Remy has been in the city for a long time. I think it would not benefit her to make enemies amongst her own clan here. Especially one with such a wealth of knowledge.
Indeed. I understand Remy has been here almost since the city's inception. Some 80 years.
As far as I understand.
I'm curious as to what you make of the incident, Miss Torres.
Well, my prince, if I may be so bold as to come up with a theory based on the video evidence I've seen on TikTok. The kind surrounding the area, the first responders, the volunteers, bleeding hearts, and even some of the people who were just looking onto the scene, seem to be under the effects of something familiar to me and my clan.
I've seen the videos. I was having difficulties, even with Chai's help, to determine if it was dominate or some sort of form for presence.
I suppose that's why you called me. I have reason to believe it was dementation. At least it's what it
Dementation.
seemed like. Me. Yes.
You claim that one of your own clan had something to do with this.
Likely, based on what I saw. Or someone who has that gift.
He leans forward in his chair, placing his elbows on the desk, sort of clasping his hands. Do you have any idea who this could have been, Miss Torres?
The only other kindred I knew with that ability, personally, has not been seen in this city for quite some time. So, do I have a name? No. However, I do have an interesting thing to add. Did you hear about a second fire that same night in Mesa?
It did.
Seems we could have potentially a couple of arsonists working together. Maybe it's connected.
I've looked into that as well. Judging off of what I can tell, 2 incidents are isolated.
Insight.
Go ahead and give me what's an insight.
Yes, please.
As a reminder, you may certainly rouse the blood, and as a reminder to everyone, you have willpower.
I get hungrier.
Kaida is looking at the prince, and I think she says, it would not be surprising if perhaps there were some cells hiding in the city. You've newly appointed Primogen have come into your own station, perhaps. It is them trying to usurp or simply corrupt your rule.
Cells. What cells?
She looks at him for a moment of brother, you know what I'm talking about. But then she says, Spot. They are just across the border. You came to me to be an extra eye. I have not seen anyone cross over. Perhaps they were already here.
Go ahead and... What is the result of your roll, Paula?
I roused, got hungrier, 5th for a crit with willpower, and got 8 on a crit.
Understood. What would you like to insight check?
Firstly, she was going to insight check the how much he was letting on about Mesa. And then I, if possible, would also like to read his demeanor with this talk of Sabat potentially in the city.
Absolutely. With him declaring that the two fires are isolated incidents, it's a very quick decision. It happened last night. And the interesting thing about Kindred is that you have forever. You have an eternity. You have all the time in the world. In the long run, night to night, you're only awarded a few hours. If your standard Kindred sleeps an hour before, or an hour after the sun sets, and goes to bed an hour before the sun rises, that's only less than a work shift in most cases. It's impossible for him to have gleaned enough information from these two fires to determine that they're isolated incidents. It's simply not possible. And a good prince, a good investigator, would not rule out the possibility of them being connected. Not this early on. As Kaida brings up the Sabat, there's a shift in his demeanor. Frustration. Irritation. And as he begins to speak, you can hear it in his voice. As he says, if the sword of Cain has pierced the city's limits, then it appears I awarded the wrong people the right of destruction. My sheriff has failed me. Is that what you claim, Miss Kaida? That I've trusted the wrong people for the wrong tasks?
What I am claiming is that you are new here. The people you have appointed are new, and perhaps they simply don't know what to look for. It is no secret that some of them were previously Anarch. They have spent the majority of their time fighting Camarilla. They don't know Sabat. I do not say you should not trust them. I say perhaps you need to teach them.
Miss Fierro was here before I was, and acted as a baron of the Anarchs. If she cannot hold her domain, if she cannot hold her station, and those that I have granted the right of destruction cannot hunt down the enemies of this city, then they should be stripped of this right.
If I may, my prince, perhaps we can be of greater service in that case, looking further into this.
No.
Allow me to prove myself as Primogen, newly appointed.
If you
And
have your theories on the fire that surrounds Studio 145, you're free to act. If you think it was one of your clan, that is well within your role to punish those that are within your clan. The fires that took place in Mesa last night are of no consequence. If you have confirmation that it is a clan member of yours, an oracle, that set fire to Remy's studio, I leave it in your hands to dole out punishment or to bring him to the sheriff. Or better yet, myself, so that we may determine what proper punishment should be taken to place. Do you have a name for me, Miss Torres?
not currently, no.
Then I suppose we both have
Dear
some investigating
Prince.
to do.
May I request something from you? There are rumors that circulate the city that I have heard exists with that fire in Mesa. By the way, the whole time she's inciting him. Like, I want to be so clear that's her intention as she's saying all this. It seems something was found. Something that would be incredibly precious to the Sabbath. Do I have your permission to investigate this further? Bring the heads of those who would try to destroy our city.
What was found in Mesa?
It looks like she's smiling at first, but she's not. It's more like baring teeth. The Book of Nod. Or some such tablet, something with the book.
Give me your insight roll, Kaida. And
Yes.
Lola, we're going to carry yours over for the remainder of this scene.
Yay.
It's wits and insight, right?
Yes, please.
And you know what, gang, we're gonna rouse the blood. We don't get hungrier. That's great. So that gives me 6 successes.
6 successes. Kaida, Lola. That frustration, that irritation boils into rage. And you see it before it happens. You see him about to lose his temper. And he stands very quickly, slamming his hands on his desk. If the sword of Cain is within the city, then I will deal with it myself. Whatever was found in Mesa is none of your concern. I have granted you the right of destruction for those surrounding areas to keep the city safe as a shield, and it appears you have failed me. As has my sheriff. In which case, I will deal with this myself. Miss Torres, you will find the member of your clan that has had anything to do with Studio 145 and the burning of Remy's. He kind of corrects himself. You will find anyone that has anything to do with the burning of Remy's buildings. And you will ensure that it does not happen again. You will bring them to the sheriff or myself. As far as any Sabbat within the city, rumored or otherwise, since I can count on no one but myself, I will hunt them myself. Do you have anything else you wish to share, ladies? Hey guys, post-editing, we're almost here. We had some audio issues within the next 5 minutes of our recording, where everything became echoey and very clicky, and through no matter what we did for audio restoration, it persisted and it made it kind of awful. So what's going to happen here for the next 5 minutes is we're going to mute the audio. We're going to have subtitles up on the screen for the characters that are talking. For some reason, it only affected the players and not the ST, myself. So I'm gonna add in the subtitles and mute their audio, so that it's a more enjoyable experience rather than just listen to a bunch of clicks and hisses and all that good stuff. Um, it persists for about 5 minutes, so I apologize, and there's no real easy way to fix it. So this is the best thing we could come up with. So forgive us. Technology happens. Uh, Sorry guys, but enjoy. See that you don't. His phone begins to ring next to the manila envelope. Just a flashing of light. And it's unmistakable, given your insight. The dart of the eyes. The frustration returns. Even as he was beginning to contain himself, whoever's on the other end of the line is going to bring him more frustration, more rage. I will make them trust me. Go. He takes up his phone, he clicks a button to stop the vibration and the ringing. And he stands with his hands kind of folded behind his back, looking out at the arena. He turns as you speak. The anarchs are gone. Restore us. Put them out of your mind. They won't be returning anytime soon. As you leave, I need a wits and awareness from Kaida and Lola, please, as the doors open. Absolutely. Understood. Kaida, what you see with 4 is that Elysium is empty. You can hear the television and the blood dolls having some slight conversation. They appear to be watching some sort of reality television show. But Che is nowhere to be seen. And Lola, with 3 successes and activating Sense the Unseen, Che slinks in past the double doors. Quietly, eyes fixed on Prince Montalvo. Do you close the doors behind you? Question before this continues. I need to know. I asked very pointedly. If you close the doors behind you.
Which,
While
yes.
this look is going on, while this text is going on, are the doors closed? Are you holding them open? What happens here? Give me a sequence of events.
I'll cock an eyebrow, obviously seeing something behind or pass by us. I was already in the motion of closing the door, so I won't make a stink about not doing it. And then yeah.
Yeah, I think we're like standing in front of the door as she's like going to close it, and I'm sending this text message.
You do this, and as you are closing the door, you can see Prince Montalvo is taking a phone call. You close the door behind you. You watch Lola, you watch Jay slink in. The last thing you see before you close the door is the prince on the phone and Jay taking up a spot in the corner, watching. Gone is the smile and the firm look. Jay is frowning. And Lola, with this last inkling of what you see, I would grant you one last wits and insight, not on the prince, but on Jay.
There's snacks in the other room, so I'm gonna rouse the blood.
Let's go.
I get hungry. These poor kids. Let's see. What's an insight?
It's fine, they're being paid very well.
Right, they're fine. 5.
The look isn't anger. There's fixation on the prince. There's concern. Worry. Maybe even a protective instinct. As the door closes. The two of you are free to leave.
Can I feed on the other ones I didn't feed on before we
Oh.
leave?
Before she does that, if I see her like walking towards that room, I'm still holding her hand and I'll stop her. You know, you can feed for me. It is the least that I can offer, considering you did the same.
She'll kind of look over her shoulder at the door, make sure it's closed, and say, well, she won't say anything. She'll kind of look at Kaida, and these words will come into her mind. Blood leech, blood bond, strings. And she says, perhaps in the future.
Perhaps. She'll let her hand go so that she can go feed. But she's just watching Lola carefully.
Give me a wits and awareness. Both of you, please. You guys have very pointedly not left the outside of this door.
So I'm hungry. How many hunger dice am I using for this? Because I'm gonna slake 2.
You haven't fed yet. This conversation that you're having right now is before you even go to the blood dolls.
Okay. Gotcha.
Or on a crit.
Almost a crit. 4.
You hear the prince, with 4 successes each, raise his voice. Not exactly screaming, not exactly a yell, but you hear him. This is my city. And I don't want this anymore.
Feed quick, let's go.
Yeah. Before we go, Lola's gonna pass a look to the blood dolls. She's kind of I want to say she's like learning their names and kind of getting to know, like in passing, getting to know them as much as she can when she's in there. She kind of passes a look to all of them that kind of says, like, he's cranky tonight. You guys may wanna like low key.
Understood. As a note, as I said, there was 3 of them. Getting to know them, difficult while you feed, but getting to know them, having had talked to them the night prior, at the very least you would have learned their names. Jason, Lillian, and Todd. If it's important, if anybody cares.
I care.
Kaida doesn't.
I like to learn the cats' names when I go visit my friend's house.
Understood.
Kaida's like, they're just cats.
And the 2 of you feed and depart. And our vision fades from studio, or from Suite 1. Back at St. Basil's. The 3 of you have followed Paternoster to an unfinished wing, an unfinished office. It still has tarp up. The carpet has not been laid down just yet. The smell of fresh paint is here. But it looks like it's been painted over a number of layers. This room is perpetually under construction, perpetually unfinished. And Paternoster has strung up papers, newspaper clippings, and articles from the internet about fires in Mesa, accidents in Goodyear, incidents in Phoenix. You step in, and you get the distinct feeling that Paternoster is doing some investigating of his own.
You have notes, I see.
I'm unsure of everything. I'm trying to piece things together, but nothing is... I don't understand. Nothing makes sense. I think the rumors are wrong about the prince. I don't think it has anything to do with the spot. I think he's working with the Second Inquisition.
To what end?
I don't know. But you've
How
heard
you-
the whispers of Teodoro and Lydia, and they were disappeared before he arrived. I didn't expect them to be true, but everything that is happening, it makes sense. They were some of the most influential kindred in the city before he arrived. It takes out key players. Makes it easier to steamroll the power banks.
But then, Elena, she was Baron as well.
Yes. And Elena didn't go that night. I think he swung. I think he missed a few.
Remember the fact that Louise was there?
Yes.
Do you think that has anything to do with how Elena is now?
I've never known Elena to not be willing to fight. I've always expected her to fight till she met the sun. I don't know why she would bend to this prince. But the Second Inquisition aren't fools. They do take prisoners. And he kind of glances at you, Friday. They do experiments. I've heard the stories. I used to usher Thin Bloods out of this hospital. Caitiffs. And when the prince took over, I had to clamp down on operations. I couldn't risk much of it anymore. He told me to keep certain things running, but everyone I've helped since he took over they haven't reached out again. And it's all people that he directed, that he helped me help. And he points to articles and accidents in these clippings of newspapers. Bodies found in warehouses. Fires. And he says, every one of these were kindred. Were people that he was trying to help, so he said. I think he's killing them. I don't know why. I think he's serving them up to the Second Inquisition. I just don't know why.
I'll be honest, this is even more of an accusation.
I know what this
Prince
sounds
was-
like, Remy.
Some of it makes sense, though. Like with Elena. Like you, I know her to not have this type of countenance. No nonsense, yes, but to not fight, to bend the knee. Hell, she didn't even bend a knee to Theodora, let's be real. The only thing that would actually have her play ball is if Louise didn't meet final death.
It's my theory as well. It's what some whisper, is that he's keeping him somehow, keeping him staked or keeping him in some compound. But I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what type of security or what verification that would be. I mean, once again, looks at you, Friday. I don't know how likely it would be for Louise to escape. Or to be rescued.
Friday has been staring at her fate. The room blurry, her hearing is muffled. Isn't until that Burmester says her name that she finally looks up. I flew here. It took a few nights, but it's possible that he was so nice to me. He could have just handed me over to the Second Inquisition then. Why would he do that? Any of this?
I don't know.
I have a tag, a number. He knew that. I told him everything, like an idiot.
I don't know. That's the one thing I can't sort out, and so I haven't been able to share this with anybody. But I think Amira knows. I think that's why she's leaving. I think that's why the Banu Hakim left. I think that they couldn't stand for this. I think that's why she
Justice,
left.
blood magic. If what you're saying is true, they wouldn't have been able to find it immediately. Hell, maybe even keeping me under his thumb was supposed to keep me from looking into it. Goodyear. That was mentioned.
Goodyear.
Anything about
It was.
Goodyear.
He points to an article. There's a movement. There's within the Phoenix metropolitan area, there's certain facilities that are ran by the United States military. And so it's not uncommon for you to see military vehicles in certain parts of Phoenix. There's reserve bases nearby. But what is uncommon is for these vehicles to be sighted in particular areas. Suburban areas, homes. He points out this, what looks like a construction area, construction zone. There was movement in Goodyear here. Constant transport of what looked like these hard, they're like pelican cases, these hardened black plastic cases. But they were large enough to be coffins, Remy.
AST. From my captivity in Area 51 with the Second Inquisition, does this look like something they would use to transport kindred?
Go ahead and give me a wits and insight as you're looking at the, at all of, because he's gathered quite a bit up. This is a full-on conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, he's
board.
surely daying it.
Mm-hmm.
Wits and insight. I'm gonna rouse the blood for that. 3 successes.
You're getting major flashbacks, Friday. What he's talking about, these sort of pelican cases, they would be used to transport military goods. When you were captive, you recall, you were kept in something similar. A hardened, light-proof case. And members of your flock were kept in layers of these boxes. This is exactly the same.
Friday will step towards the ward, tap one little claw on the picture that he has. That's how they moved us. Moves across state lines. Pretended to be those masked thugs who called themselves immigration officials. Really, they were just piling us up like a bunch of meat. It's definitely Second Inquisition.
I just don't know what he points to the pictures. It looks like he's had his people that can move in daylight, ghouls or mortal retainers. Keeping an eye here, you can see footage that shouldn't be, or pictures that shouldn't exist. It's expressly against the law to have drone footage of military bases, and yet here are a few pictures. There were 2. There were 2. And this is the last place they were. He points to a map of the same construction zone. I think that he has Luis personally. And I think that this is Lydia and Theodoro. I just can't prove it. This is all theories.
You mean to say that they're all potentially alive?
It could be. Their bodies were never found. No ash, nothing. It was just taken on word that the Second Inquisition raided them and that they were no more. But they do take prisoners, and he kind of looks pleadingly at you, Friday.
Your job is getting kindred out of the city, moving them in and out, right?
It was. And he looks away from the board. I tried to help them. When he outlawed cult activities, when he declared the Tremere banned, when the ministry was cast out, I was supposed to give them passage. But instead, this kind of looks toward the board.
And we have other pieces of the puzzle to add to it. I was approached by a member of the Ivory Tower to investigate the prince, but they still think he's Sabat aligned. Now, why would they send someone to even investigate him in the first place? What merited that in the first place? It's not because he's just Samitsi, at least I hope that's not the case.
The only person that can answer that is Amira. She
That's
was
what I think too.
sworn to her honor to silence, and she's taken it very, very seriously. I tried to talk to her, but she wouldn't tell me anything. She's not leaving, though. She's moved, just moved. She's in
Do you have
South
a way-
Casa Grande.
Do you have a way to contact her at all?
I can get you her address.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place here. All of us are.
Wants to
Does
rouse
you-
the prince's suspicions. Any way you could move us around quietly so we could have discussion with her?
It's best if you move on your own. I can't trust any of my usual channels. Even the most recent. Even the most recent people that came. The most recent kindred that came here. He goes to a sort of, it's a desk, but it's older. Opens a drawer. He pulls out a list of names. Printed off of Excel sheet. These were individuals that came seeking Prince Montalvo. Came from Mexico. They were looking for a new start, I guess. These are the last ones that I helped. And I tried to do it without his avenues. And they were still caught.
Can I get can I make a wits and insight roll on how he's feeling now, the way he's kind of calming down from the initial high of revealing the conspiracy?
Yeah, by all means.
4 successes?
He is looking at these names as if he failed these people. And everything he's talking about, make it very clear. Patermuster, especially Remy, you've known Patermuster. He's not a good man. He feeds on these patients. He uses this place and keeps it run down and dilapidated and corrupt for his own means. The good that he does do is moving kindred and trying to get them a fresher start, a better place. That is what keeps him in touch with humanity. Perhaps that's what a touchstone has taught him to do, has instilled in him. He is forlorn. In his eyes, he has failed these people.
I think we need to look down this road a little bit more. We are a little bit more active outside of just a hospital, so I think I'll need to talk to Amira.
If you can get Amira or Elena to tell you anything, I think those are your two best leads.
Elena and I we respected each other enough to stay out of each other's hair for quite a few years. I think she even was a foil between Louise and I for a good number of those as well. I had hoped to get her alone, but she's been quite busy. It seems as the prince has been keeping her busy. And I have no way of contacting her without, well, we're not supposed to have phones.
No one worth their salt is keeping that rule.
Yes. But as how Elena is taking this seriously. Still a lead. I'll kind of straighten myself up a little bit. I appreciate your trust, and I appreciate you showing me all this. And I will come to you with whatever I know. We have to stand together, if anything. From the people that know this city, I deign to keep it.
I'm here for you. Let me know if I can do anything for you.
Of course.
Thank you, Doctor. And I know I'm new here, and I have every reason to go back and tell the prince everything I've heard, but look, after this and the fact that you could be letting SI into the city, you have my word that everything here will stay between us.
I
I'll
appreciate
see
it.
to it that we find them, all of them, dead or alive, or whatever they might be.
Thank you. I don't know how long he's going to keep me. I can't stand by and pretend in Elysium. That's why I wasn't there that night. Because I can't pretend like everything's alright anymore.
Agreed.
It'll be noticed.
I think, for all of our sakes, however, you have to still put up that face as long as possible. I would urge you to do so. Not think about the kindred that we may lose in the process, but the kindred that we may save.
He nods. Come on, I'll walk you out.
Gather myself and kind of like take a good long hard look at everything, try to keep whatever I can to memory before nodding to Friday and heading out together.
As revelations are made and theories have been gathered before our coterie reconvenes, this is where we're going to take our break. See you all very shortly.
When I first came to this country, I had nothing.
Have you come to kill me?
I am simply descended from survivors, and I always survive.
Life doesn't stop when you die.
My blood is not welcome in Camarilla cities.
Did you love your mother?
Dearly.
I did too. I'm not a fan of father.
Crying takes more breath. I've learned that the hard way.
Fuck, Roman. Fuck.
Everyone has a voice in my Phoenix. Hello and welcome back. I have been verbally threatened. So all things are right in the world. We're doing great. We hope you had a great break. Everyone's gotten water. Everyone used the restroom. Do all the things you need to do. Welcome back to Bloom and Blood. We'll pick it up right where, well, not exactly right where we left off. We have a little brief time skip as our coterie crosses through the city and reconvenes. This is where we'll pick up. However, before that, I do have one thing, because again, I've made it very clear that Phoenix sucks to drive in, so I do need drive checks.
Fair.
Dexterity drive.
How about composure drive? That sounds
Composer
like
drive
fun.
works as well.
Yay.
In my celerity as well.
Well, had spend willpower.
3.
2.
3 and 2. Well, at 2 successes, there's a few close calls. It's really bad out tonight. Specifically, there's an individual in a white truck that cuts you off, doesn't put on a blinker, has that lifted white truck, and just moves past, just kind of glazes into your lane, and then doesn't keep speed. It's just a bad night, unfortunately. But despite having a few close calls, you're all able to make it back to the Hesperus. Or back to Hesperus, I should say. And reconvene. Discuss what you have learned. Now again, I won't make you all rehash all of this in character, but if I could get a brief synopsis from both parties on what you share. It can be as simple as, bitch, I share everything. Or if you'd like to talk about the things that you do share, it's entirely up to you.
Since I told him all of this like an idiot! Friday is just a ranting mess. Just, how could I have trusted him? All of this. She is very much the emotional half. I think Remy is the, here's the details half.
I think, though, I would have advised Friday to chill and at least listen, because they have the first, like the first person point of view of the prince first, and I want to hear what they heard first and then expound on it afterwards.
This girl I know.
I think the first thing that Kaida says when we're all in a group together in a room, she looks at the coterie and then looks at Remy, and there's the most serious face, and she goes, "Something is incredibly wrong. He did not respond to any of it the way a prince should." And then she will start to give, specifically like her half of the conversations with the prince, and describing his, like, essentially a temper tantrum that he threw, how he was looking for information on who Remy's enemies are, made the suggestion that what happened to the studio was Danielle's fault, and like his vehement do not look into the Mesa Goodyear Sabat things, that he would do it himself. The statement that he made about, if I can't trust the people I've appointed to do this, I will do it myself. I'll get rid of them. and just like describes his demeanor during all of that.
I think what Lola adds on is his dismissal, complete delusional dismissal of the accusation of anarchs. Also looking into the Sabat situation. She'll also add the phone that he got a phone call that made him irate, and he said that he said, quote, "This is my city. I want none of it anymore." And then she'll tack on to the end, and throughout all of this, his biggest concern was finding out who set the fire to Studio 145. I told him I didn't have a name, but it was likely a Malkavian. And he wants this Malkavian brought to him directly. First he said I deal with it. Then he said bring it to me or the sheriff. But then he said just bring them to me. He's not acting with decorum or measure.
And he seemed insistent that the two fires were not connected. He did not, he would not have had time to really find that out.
None of us would. And this is at the time that I will, along with Friday, I'll just kind of nod to Friday, because I'm kind of assuming that throughout this entire time Friday wanted to interject, and I'm just like, this entire time just let him speak, and afterwards, we kind of mention, and I'll just, Patermaster is an old friend. We respect each other's knowledge, and we respect each other's ideals. He may not be morally upstanding in every single way, but he believes he is making up for it by protecting and granting kindred better lives. That being said, and then I will continue talking about how he believes that the prince is aligned with the SI.
Friday's interjections are emotional, but she'll very much point out those were SI. Those were absolutely how kindred are transported. Those look like what Friday was carried in. And then she'll point out, is he going to turn me in? I would have been easy to turn in, and just clearly working herself up to the point where she has to, give me a second, I'm going to go outside. I'm fine.
There's actually one of the rooms is a little clearer if you want to make your way down to the left. And the I'll point over at a room where it's like mostly dark, but it has like a cool mist. And it's the one that I mentioned, I think, a few episodes back, where there's a hologram projections through the mist, so it looks like there are like kind of wispy figures walking throughout the room, and it's just calm. There's only a light spray of mist that has that basically has any sort of sound within that particular space.
Friday will accept. Not that Lemmy needs to know, but she is probably going to treat it the way a cat treats a laser pointer. She's just going to get some stress out. She's clearly pretty worked up. But she'll nod, huffing, hands in her pockets. Work out some stress.
And then at this point, I'll just, the linchpin, the one thing that makes me actually believe Patermaster's claims, is how much I know Elena, and how much I know she won't stand for what she is doing now. Even in our brief encounter, she wasn't the same.
No. She seemed very sad and frustrated and annoyed when our exchange earlier this evening, I honestly chalked it up, her turncoating, to being what Kindred do to survive. But
Yes, but she was your Baron. You know her. She'd rather fight than survive.
Unless he has something that she would be willing to bend the knee to protect.
There is only one thing. And he presumably met final death. That is no longer the case. At least that is no longer what I believe is the case.
At Elysium, Amira tried to speak to me. But when the prince entered, she made her way elsewhere.
Good. Then
I need to speak to her, I think.
I have her address. She has not left. She's just merely moved.
I see.
If that is the case, then one last trip of the night?
Ren
I
will
would
pop out
say
her little soaked head from the mist room. Let's have some conversations. I think they're needed.
Friday, would you like to come with me to speak to Amira?
Yes? Immediately, just ears perking up, eyes full.
All right.
Let's go.
Remy, if you don't mind, I think I have some words to exchange with Elena. On top of
Expect so.
everything. Yeah.
I was going
Okay.
to ask you to join me anyways.
Be careful.
Perfect.
Of course.
Yeah. I might be able to bring Elena out somewhere private. Perhaps if I ask her for her help with the lead. Obviously the sheriff probably, I don't know, it could be a good alibi to the prince.
Storyteller, from how long I've known her, would I have her phone number?
Elena's?
Yeah.
I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility. Absolutely.
Okay. I will look at Lola and listen to her suggestion and just be like, I think that is best.
Okay. Do you want her to come here or somewhere else?
I think it would be pretty obvious that I would be there,
Yeah.
but I don't want to catch her by surprise, so here might work.
And I'll pull out my phone and I'll message Elena saying, need your help with a lead on Studio 145. Meet me here in 30, giving Ida and Friday enough time to leave.
Understood.
Suggest that I suggest that perhaps you both have Zoe and Roman find themselves somewhere else. The city is in flux. You do not want them caught in the crossfire.
It was my thoughts exactly. And actually something I was going to speak to Lola about.
Right. I will let you know what we find. Don't die. And she's going to essentially like hook her arm with Friday and head on it.
Just a bad bitch and her little bit she can keep in her purse.
We will follow Ida and Friday as they leave. Very briefly. Who is driving?
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't got nothing in drive.
I was gonna say, Friday's a little younger. She might have a license, but she's got a lot of heart. So Friday will be behind the wheel.
Go ahead and give me dexterity and drive or composure and drive.
Let's go Dex and drive. 4 successes.
4 successes. Easier for you, Friday. It's a rough night out, but you're able to swerve. I don't think you're an aggressive driver, but I think that you are an assertive driver, to say the very least. And you're able to...
Oh, absolutely.
You're able to maneuver and keep up with the best of them in this city. As you drive, however, there is a slight distraction. As we've established, you have a phone. And it does ring. The number is unknown.
Put it on speaker. I gotta keep my eyes on the road.
You put it on speaker, and a male voice comes through the speaker. Friday, what you hear is, hello.
Hello?
Friday, this is Che.
Oh,
Where are you right now?
what's got you up so late?
Which road? Am I on the I-10 or am I...
I would imagine I-10, yes.
I'm on the I-10, getting a snack. What's up?
I have a distinct interest in all of the kindred in the city. There's a pause.
Friday's just
What are you-
eyeing Kaida.
What are your plans tonight?
Oh, I don't want to lie to Uncle so bad. I don't want to lie to you.
What I will say, as this moment is in the midst of things, Kaida, this is not what you hear. You hear Che and Friday speaking an entirely different language. There is no recognition here. The only, I think, things you would have recognized, maybe, is the greeting. Yate.
Okay. Kaida just watches.
Oh my.
I'm out with a friend. She's gonna take me to some clubs, and I'm gonna try...
And Friday's thinking of a lie as she's
snacking on some
heartier
things, you know. Gourmet. Not gamey.
Good. The next time you're in Elysium, I think we should have a conversation.
something in Friday. She doesn't know how this man got her number. Probably from the prince. He didn't ask. They haven't so much as said hello aside from outside Elysium, but she feels very compelled.
I would like that quite a bit, actually. When the night's not so busy and I'm not trying to get past some... Oh, of course, the plate is from Ohio, of all places. Come on. But I would like that very much, too. Yeah.
Very good. Go ahead and give me a wits and insight, Friday.
Wits and insight. I'm doing a lot of that.
Yeah, dog. Bless.
I'm going to willpower reroll that. I got no successes, so I'm going to spend a willpower. Okay, that's better. 2 successes.
2 successes. This is a strange interaction. Not just because you didn't give this man your number, but he seems almost relieved to hear your plans. this is a strange interaction, and you didn't push. And when someone asks you your plans, there's a follow-up of like, we should meet up, but it's, he heard you were going somewhere, he seemed satisfied with it, and then left it alone. It's incredibly strange.
That's kind of bad. But, I mean, who hasn't lied to their aunt or uncle or their mom or their dad about where they're going out at night? Just involves the potential toppling of a government, but considering the way he talked to the prince on the phone, maybe you wouldn't be so opposed, but over Bluetooth speakers, not the place to discuss that.
The Renaissance is always open to you if you're down for it. I'll be home by the morning. See you then?
I may visit you tomorrow evening. Excuse me, I have other business I must attend to. But thank you. He hangs up.
Hagone.
He hangs up. And again, Kaida, we're not privy to this conversation. And it doesn't seem like Friday even realizes that you weren't.
I think she'll raise an eyebrow.
Do you think he's like into me or something?
Friday, you were both speaking in your native tongue, so I have no context.
She's gonna take her eyes off the road, hear a horn honk, immediately turn it back, but she's very confused.
No offense, Kaida, but I don't think gargoyles and Nosferatu share a language, even though we might have been related. Maybe we're like 13th cousins removed, depending on how the Tremere mix the parts.
You were not always gargoyle, and he was not always Nosferatu.
What did we sound like then? I was just talking to him.
Kinda,
So,
I think that you would know at least certain sounds and certain, maybe not like the words themselves, but I think you could recognize with the history that you have. I think that you could recognize. I think that you could recognize the language.
So, it's an interesting thing. The Boriken are Arawak. And there's something I think indigenous people almost like cousins when it comes to language. There's a through line. And so I think her mouth remembers the sounds of her native tongue. And so she just takes, little phrases that she heard throughout their conversation and then says them to Friday.
Maybe there is something to it. Shit, you don't think he's my dad, do you?
That would be incredible. I don't know. But he clearly has interest in you that perhaps is more familial in nature.
Tap her claws on the wheel.
Yeah, it felt like I was talking to a member of the flock again. We share blood, we share a home, even though I've barely spoken to the man for more than 5 minutes. Guess I'll talk with him tomorrow night.
And our vision fades from this scene back to Hesperus with Lola and Remy.
Before Elena arrives, as soon as Friday and Kaida leave, I'll just back to what Kaida said. I don't want to be presumptuous, but I want to offer Zoe and Roman an extended stay outside of the country. At least for now. I have
Oh, please continue.
an estate, a summer house, for reasons, in Nice. And they could stay there. I would use an excuse, of course, something about Zoe needing some inspiration, a break from all of this. And I was wondering if you would allow Roman to join her.
Lola, so the way that Remy and Kaida were very like, yes, this is a plan that makes sense, we should do that. Lola cannot help, she cannot hide the fact that she is perturbed by the suggestion. Her face kind of scrunches, and she just says, I don't know what he'd do without me.
That's fair.
We've never been apart for very long. We've always been together. Even after I died, I never really left him alone. He's really sensitive and he gets sad. And I don't know if Zoe knows how to make him, help him work through that sort of thing.
I know. Understandable, but I don't think it's something that I need to say, that it's not safe here. Already not safe for us kindred, but even more so to people that are tied to us. For one, your brother knows Nathaniel.
He doesn't pout, but she can definitely tell she's fighting back a lot of emotion. Her jaw kind of clenches, and she continues, why I didn't do anything that Lydia wanted me to. This is why I stayed away, or tried to stay away from Nathaniel and everyone. Just wanted to keep him safe.
Yeah. I'm merely suggesting and offering a way to do so. Keep him safe. Sometimes, if safe isn't by your side, Lola, you have to understand. Those that are dear to us, that aren't us, cannot stay by our side forever.
There's a long pause. And she looks away. She kind of looks away from Remy within that pause, and then wipes her eye. You can see a smear of blood on her thumb before she turns back and says, yeah, okay. You're right.
Well, you know that even if right now, if you were to check your phone, the first text messages would be wrong. Just a slew of messages of what he's gotten up to that day. The selfies of wherever the hell he was at in the evening and the day. a slew of pictures saying I miss you. It's a constant thing with the two of you. And he never pushed you for not being awake during the day. You work a night job, it's understandable. He understands that you're probably sleeping during the day. Your schedule's just not like everyone else's. And he's never pushed or, you know, made a big deal about the fact that you're busy a lot. He just is happy to be with you when he can. And is texting you a lot. It's just the way he is. It's just the way that your relationship with your brother works. So if you were to check your phone right now, there he would be.
I don't know how he'll react, but maybe having Zoe there will help.
I think the choice, of course, is ultimately theirs. Do you look at your phone, by the way?
Yeah, I think she'll instinctually pull her phone out and just kind of check it.
12 messages from Roman.
I'll even give them the data they need to text back. The time difference will make it a little bit easier at times.
You do that?
Yes.
The the blood tears are starting to well again, and she quickly tries to clean them up. Not even bothering to keep her white cuffs clean. And says, "Okay, yeah, that sounds fine. I'll have to tell." And she stops. I'll tell them. Or if you want to have us both do it, I don't know. What do you think?
It's probably easier that way. But I think that would raise a little bit even more suspicions.
It probably would.
How about I let them know, and you let Roman tell you?
Yeah, that's smart. He'll probably be excited. And then scared. But no, that makes sense.
I would say, and this is, I don't want you to mistake this for cold-heartedness, but I believe that it is better for the both of them to not be here right now. So if he does have any second thoughts, if you could assuage them.
Yeah. I'll do that.
There's a text message
Then on to the task at hand.
Lola.
Hmm.
Elena's number. Just says here.
Yeah. Yeah, she's here. Elena is here. I guess let's...
I'll just, as a almost like a small gesture, I'll just kind of, if I may, and reach over, like just at the corner of your eye, kind of wipe out a little bit more of the tear. It's just, we want to keep you a little presentable.
Yes.
And as Elena enters Hesperus, we once more cast our eyes back toward Friday and Kaida, heading toward the location that Patamonster had given your group. It's a simple place. It's a home. Just a house. No club. No secret construction site. Underground bunker. Just a home in South Casa Grande. What would you two like to do?
Kaida takes a moment, reaches over, and just puts a hand on Friday's hand. You will get your answers. We will do it together. But for now, let's see what we can do about saving this city.
I'd have a house to return to if we wanna. I just wanna get through this alive. Or not alive, in one piece.
You will. And then she will step out of the car, open the door for Friday. And then she's going to cast her eyes on the house itself. Does it look like there's lights on within the house?
There are.
Right. For a moment, Kaida looks around at the ground. Are there any flowers?
There are none.
She
The typical
needs
style
flowers.
of most Phoenix and houses here in the desert, unless you're up in the areas where they're willing to waste the water. It's mostly rock, cactus, and like decorative stones.
Okay. Some cacti have flower, but she notices that none of these do. And she just, as she's walking up towards the front of this house, kind of runs her hands over the cactus and allows for one of the little needle bits to prick into her skin, just leaving a little drop of blood there. And I want to say the intention here, this is something that can be done at another time, but just the intention is that it becomes a protector.
Noted.
And she goes to the door, and if there's like a doorbell or a knock or anything, she'll use that to make themselves known.
You do this, and within a few moments, you hear footsteps. The door opens, and there she is. No grandiose ghoul, no announcer, no blood doll. No, Amira Navarro answers her own door. Tan skin. Sharp cheekbones. Very refined jawline. Black hair that falls like silk. Tonight she wears reds and blacks. Garb that looks like has like sheer sleeves. Almost a dress. I'm not sure exactly what culture this garb is from. But it has intricate little geometric patterns along the collar and the end of the hem. She looks perturbed. Kaida.
Come to you like this, but we need to talk.
She looks to you, Friday.
Here to be moral support. Trust me, if I was here to spy for the prince or anyone, you wouldn't have seen me. I'm really good at that.
I don't think you're spies. Please. She steps back and makes herself smaller, pinning herself up against the wall to allow you to walk into this home.
Kaida is going to take off her shoes and leave them just outside the front door and walk in.
You do this. You notice that her shoes are off. Entering into the home, there is a blend of smells here. Incense is lit. It smells like sandalwood. You think marigolds. There is art on the walls that is made of fabric, along with small golden statues that litter tables. It's not a lavish home, but the colors are rich on reds and golds and blacks. Most of the things here are of, you think, Indian descent. As well, you catch a few things that are familiar. And familiar in the sense that they belong to your island. There is a flag here, a small one, that hangs on the wall.
I think Kaida sees it and smiles. But it's that gentle smile of seeing a piece of home here. And she looks to Amira for a moment, searching her features, trying to see, like, how did you end up with these? You have a beautiful home.
Thank you. It is pieces of my history.
One we shared.
Closer than I think you know.
There's a moment where Kaida is caught off guard. But she rights herself and says, "First business. Then we talk of other things."
She nods and says, I don't have much to offer you in terms of what we could eat.
I'm alright. Friday?
Let us snack this evening. I mean, if you've got, well, for lack of a better term, people food, I wouldn't be opposed, but please, we're in your home. Happy to be here. Really.
She smiles. She says, I keep certain things for guests of the kind variety. I do have had the echoes of a social life.
When we're all settled and seated, Kaida, as much as she loves seeing these bits of her island here, and also the other part of Amira's culture, just so beautifully arranged and artfully set up, she does not allow these things to distract her now. She says, you wanted to talk to me at Elysium. What was it?
She looks down. I had hoped to wish you well in the city and invite you to my home so that we could discuss the past.
I see. Well then, I do not wish to be bearer of bad news. Things are not right here. Things are not right with the prince.
Face gets suddenly very hard. I am no longer in his domain. Guess the ground is kept by others.
Yes. That is why it is so important that I tell you what we have learned.
I can't hear it.
Why?
I just can't.
Goodness gracious. Okay, everyone hold the fucking phone. Gosh, I essentially want to do an insight on her, but what I'm really looking for is like, has something been done to her? You know what I mean? Like, has she been coerced in some way, and can I see signs of that?
What's an insight?
Okay, not the best, but not bad. 3?
You don't think it's occult based or any sort of blood sorcery or anything like that? The way she says it just seems like she can't bear to.
You are of the judges. That is your gift, your calling. Yes?
Yes.
And among that, to lay bare truth. So, I will lay bare truth, and you will judge what you need to do after. You do not have to tell me. But for what comes next, we will need you. And she begins to tell her what is going on. She speaks of Paternoster and what he revealed, even indicating at times for Friday to talk about this stuff with the SI. Eventually, she starts to say the things with the Sabbat. She speaks about how the prince reacted. And she says at the end of it all, if you think we should let the city burn, it would not be the first time that my home be burned to the ground by those who do not belong in it.
I have heard you. I am no longer in his domain. It is not my choice to make.
I see. That is incredibly disappointing. Kaida's like struggling. I think Friday, being closest to her right now, would see the agitation and would see it in like the sort of subconscious shifting of Kaida's bones and the slight tremor in her actual hand and this tension, because what Friday does not know is the horrors that Kaida has witnessed in her true home to invading forces. And so she just kind of sits there sort of almost vibrating in her barely kept rage.
Friday is a social animal. She recognizes distress, maybe not its source. But she's just going to press her body into Kaida's side just a little. That reassurance, the same that would calm her a night when sirens would call out in the forest. And she will look to Amira and say,
I understand. Don't get me wrong, it feels awful to hear that coming from you, but when they took my flock, separated us, cut us, did terrible things to us there, I swore I was going to burn the place down. I wouldn't have been able to hold myself back. The only reason I got out intact was that everything was burning around me. I didn't need to set the match. But justice will be done. Maybe not the kind that the Camarilla would want, but what they deserve. What Louise deserves, all of them. All of those missing faces, all of those murdered names.
Give me what's an insight, Friday.
What's gonna re-roll that? Gonna spend another willpower. And red blood. 2 successes.
Amira is desperately trying to maintain herself. As Kaida was speaking, she kind of closed her eyes, listened. She heard the theories, the rumors, everything that Pattern Masquerade had pieced together. What you guys think to be true. The difference is she knows something. And it's well known to the city. She is sworn to silence. When she met with Prince Montalvo alongside a fellow baron, the contents of that meeting were kept private. All that is known is that Silvio Cardenas attacked the prince and died for it. Mira emerged and kept quiet about whatever else happened in that meeting. And she stayed silent ever since. You can see now it's taking a lot.
She's gonna burst. She is going to spill forth. One of those is preferred. Friday might not be a social manipulator, a master of the ballroom, but she cares. Maybe that'll be enough. And she'll take the hand that was on Kaida's. Very, very gently, as if she's approaching a startled animal. Extend her hand.
I think you're the only one who's been a part of his games.
Kaida stands up for a moment. She kind of starts to pace. You say that we share far more than culture. What is it that we share, Amira?
I know your sire.
Kaida, full stop, freezes. If she could turn to stone, she would turn to stone in this moment. And just her head slowly turns to look at this woman. What do you know of him?
I know what he did to you.
ST, would this constitute as a fucking frenzy check?
A fury frenzy?
Because I think so. I think she's at 3 hunger and she's about to lose her shit.
I'm gonna give you a choice here.
Okay.
One thing about frenzies is I agree. This could constitute a Fury Frenzy check. Now, there's a couple choices. Two choices you have here. You can make the Fury Frenzy, attempt to fight it off. If you fail, however, I take control of Kaida for the scene. And I choose what you do in your frenzy. Or, you can simply submit to it. Ride the wave and control Kaida in your frenzy. What would you like to do, Kaida?
So we're gonna leave this up to the dice. So the only thing I want to flavor this with, before I roll, she's in that frozen state. She's looking at a mirror, and purely flavor. She has those sort of blown out irises, right? And I think you see her entire eyes go red, as if all the blood vessels in her eyes popped and all her fangs become visible, and she looks monstrous. There's no looking at her, all the beauty she has bleeds away, and this is just a creature of rage. And I'm gonna roll these fucking dice. So that's no successes. Yeah, she loses her shit.
I'll get back to you both very, very shortly. As our vision casts back to Lola, Remy, and Elena. Lola, Remy. Elena has arrived at Hesperus and is making her way to you now. As she arrives, she looks as she did previously when you saw her tonight. Annoyed, beautiful, and confused as to why here. You called.
I did. There's a lot I wanted to discuss with you. One amongst them being Studio 145.
And here we are away from prying eyes and ears.
You have information.
I've spoken with the prince. I told him what I know, that I have reason to believe a Malkavian is the one that set fire to the studio. Or at least one with the gift of dementation.
Do tell.
I don't have a name, but that's what I gleaned off the little bit I've been able to look into with what's on the internet. The people that were surrounding the onlookers, the first responders.
And how did the prince take it?
Well, that's the thing. That's part of what I wanted to speak. We wanted to speak with you about is how the prince is taking things. He became very irate during our meeting. I tried to bring up a possible connection to the fire that happened the same night in Mesa. I brought up my suspicions about Sabbat activity and there possibly being a relic they're searching for in the city, and he did not take that very well, which kind of colored the rest of the conversation.
What relic?
A book?
The book.
That's what people keep saying.
Why did you feel the need to tell me about this?
Well, because even though I wasn't really a part of things before, we know each other and I trust you.
You trust me?
I mean, do I have reason not to?
I am the sheriff of this city, Lola. I know you don't exactly have a grasp of what that means. But Remy, you've been around long enough. What makes you think I'm not going to tell the prince about your theories? About this little secret meeting? Your assessment of him?
Less assessment. There, at least what Lola has mentioned, none of it was outside of being just fact. But regardless, there's a reason why I'm here too. We haven't caught up in a really long time, Elena. And now that you're sheriff, I have no reason to believe that you won't tell the prince anything. But we, courtesy and all, know each other longer. And I want to extend a hand if you so take it. This isn't you.
Both of you dismissed yourselves from the baronies. Both of you sat on the sidelines. You for longer. Remy, you could have taken a barony for yourself, but you were content. So long as no one interfered in your affairs. So long as you had peace. So what the fuck do you think you know about me?
Because there is no peace now. And I know, regardless of whether or not I stepped in or stayed out, that whatever this flimsy peace that we have right now is not something that you would stand for. And what? Because I didn't stand up before, doesn't mean this doesn't sit well with me now. And I'm not talking about the prince. There are so many more threats and you like this, that was my biggest concern. And I never got the chance to talk to you about it until now.
Never got the chance. You had a year. And even though there was fighting, even though the baronies fought, all the barons united together, everyone fought, everyone bled. You had a year to check, to see how I was doing. So don't fucking pretend like there was an opportunity to seek me out. You do all of your business on Roosevelt Row. You have a club in downtown, my domain. So don't you dare tell me there wasn't a chance.
Where was this fire before? After all this year that I supposedly had a chance to come talk to you. When the cam showed up, you were swept away. You were either in mourning or under whatever that prince had a spell on you. You were indisposed. And you weren't the only one. And now,
Busy keeping
after all
the city safe.
What?
She shoots you a sharp look, Lola. Things you have no idea.
I don't claim to know what you have had gone through to be this way. But I would say that I did admire your fire. That never say die spirit. I think that was probably why I was very fond of your barony. And stayed close to it as I could. It may be unfortunately late for me to step in now, but I feel the need to, nonetheless.
You have no idea how far too late you are.
What
Stop.
happened to them? Lydia. No one saw her meet final death. Do you know?
You want some insight?
I would like to do so as well.
Please do.
I will rouse blood. I'm good.
That's 4.
4 successes. 4 successes.
Also 4.
4 successes from both of you. She stops herself from speaking. That fire is there. It's a fire you haven't seen in a long time. It's newly ignited. The embers have been stoked. And she's ready to yell, to scream. But you can feel it. You can smell a hint of vitae in the air. She bites her tongue hard enough to cut pieces of it. She knows. She rolls her shoulders back. Continue, please.
Lola will, in this moment, kind of pass a look to Remy. And as much as she can convey in such a look, a single look, she's trying to say something to the effect of, should we bring him up as well? Louise.
And I see that. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Do you think this is a good idea? Say yes or no. Just. Well, I'll
Sure.
just. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Yes. The answer is yes.
I am going to, in my speech, just in case she doesn't even look at me. I want to use entrancement layered with Melpomene. So it is literally only my voice.
Go ahead and give me your charisma and presence versus her composure and wits.
Let me do the rouse check first, sorry.
Yes, please.
Success. Well, it used to be 5, but now it is 8. With the crit.
8 successes. Also 8 successes. Dies go to the active kindred. Remy, your entrancement goes off.
I use this, but I don't say anything specifically towards her. All I say is, you know, as much as he hated me, he was just an artist. One that I admired. Our ideals might be different, but we serve the same. I never got to say my condolences. But now there's not that many things in the world that could put out your fire. Or at least keep it contained.
You. He hated you so much. This Remy who capitalized on art. Remy who added a price tag to what he saw as freedom. And I never cared. I never cared about your arguments, your squabbles, any misgivings the two of you might have had. Whatever rose bullshit you guys had, I didn't care. I hated you.
He was the hand, the heart. Yet there are mouths to feed. That putting a price tag on it helped perpetuated it. So I listened to it. I let him argue. But
He
I kept
was
us
a
afloat.
fool. You know as well as I did. He was a fool. He was a young, untouched fool. He would argue
Yes.
about your art. Did you know that? When things got
I
bad,
assume so.
I would get mean. And I would tell him at least Remy seems like he struggled. Because what did Luis ever struggle for? What fight did he ever have? What push? And now, he struggled.
I have memories of my life that I would like to share. This moment. I've never shared it with anybody else other than my sire, but I feel it necessary. When I came to this country, They always say the immigrants, they have something to die for, something to work for, and whatnot. I had a veritable village to feed back home. I was met with disdain. I was met with all sorts of ire, and yet I tried persevering. It didn't work. I never fulfilled that. I suppose... Well, I suppose they're all dead by now. But... that was the only reason why I didn't want to fight anymore. I just wanted to provide. Kind and kindred alike, I wanted to provide, and I gave avenues. Elena, you saw that. Every business.
What do the two of you want?
I think we can help one another.
Resources, and we can pool it. This isn't you, like I said.
Can't.
Then maybe we can.
I have to be sheriff.
I know.
I'll never see him again.
I know.
And with that, we'll cast our eyes back over to Kaida and Friday. Kaida, you failed your fury frenzy. The object of your rage is Amira in this moment. What does she mean? What does she know? How dare she? And you lunge. What we didn't describe is the seating area in Amira's home. It's these floor couches, these cushions. Comfortable, incredibly so. But you lunge across this short table. And you sink your teeth into her neck. And she doesn't stop you. And you begin to drink. Friday, what would you like to do?
Whatever she just brought up, that's a sensitive subject because she's eating her alive right now. Friday immediately, hey, whoa. Kinda, get off her. Immediately pulling her. I strength check, whatever I need to do. I've got potence, I've got lethal body, whatever I need to do to get her off.
I need you to make me strength and brawl. I'll give you a choice here: strength and brawl, strength athletics.
I'm gonna rouse the blood for this. Alright, I'm not getting hungrier. Thank God one of us isn't getting hungrier around here. Okay. 1, 2 successes.
Now, under normal circumstances, like I said, I would have the other player rolled. Sorry, Kaida, I get to play you right now. A 7 on a crit. And so, Kaida, you drink. You drink. Drink. Draining someone takes time. So what I would like, again, Friday, you're attempting to get Kaida off. You have 3 turns to do this. Another roll, please.
Oh boy. Gonna rouse the blood again. The last thing we need is a javelry on our hands. Thank God I'm still not hungry. Let's roll. That is no successes. I'm spending another willpower. I'm down to 2. That's 1 success.
I did worse. 3 successes. Last roll. Friday.
Rousing the blood one more time. I'm gonna get hungrier. That's only 2 hunger. It's not that bad. Could be so much worse. 3 successes.
5 successes. Kaida. At the very least, she wasn't lying. As you drink, you taste home. Amira is Indian and Puerto Rican, and you taste her father. An islander, someone from home. You taste her mother, from the east. Taste these cultures, the smells, the laughter. It's all on your tongue. Intermingled into all of that, those faint sensations, those undertones of human and mortal culture, is how long she has been here, how long she has been kindred. It tastes like death. It tastes like sorrow. It tastes like silence. It tastes like she knew. It tastes like she had conversations with him and tried to convince him to stop. It tastes like she pleaded. It tastes like she tried to do everything but kill him, to stop him tormenting you. It tastes like she left. It tastes like she fled. It tastes like she settled here. It tastes like she started anew, away from tyrants and evil men. It tastes like she watched things grow, like she grew in status, like she became honorable and well known for her word. It tastes like a meeting with a prince. It tastes like he told them. It tastes like he told her there was no point in fighting. That if the Camarilla didn't use them, he was going to have to. They had to submit. It tastes like Silvio didn't see that as a choice. It tastes like she watched him leap across the table and lunge for the prince's throat. It tastes like she watched Protean, like she watched his fingers elongate, stab into Silvio. It tastes like she watched the two fight, aghast, once more. The folly of evil men. It tastes like silence. It tastes like watching the prince lick Vite from his fingertips and beg her, I don't want to kill you. I don't want to. But we will have this city. One way or the other. Don't make me hurt you. It tastes like she stepped away and kept quiet. It tastes like her clan turned her back on her. Because for all of her honor, she kept her word to the wrong man. But she clung to her silence. She clung to that word. And as the Banu Hakim of this city saw and pieced things together, they saw her as complacent. And they couldn't look to her for leadership anymore. It tastes like abandonment. It tastes like betrayal. It tastes like regret, kinda. And finally, in this way, her silence is broken. And you know what she knows. These memories are fleeting, fading. They won't stick. You have to grasp at them, cling to them. They are like blood falling through your fingers. These things that she knew. These things that she was silent about. Amira put faith in the wrong man.
Kaida drinks, receives all of that. And as she's doing so, there's this like echo of Friday begging her to stop, trying to pull her away. And all that Kaida can think is Amira left her in the hands of a monster. And she left this city in the hands of a monster. And there is only fury in her as the body falls away. And she's covered in Amir's blood, and she doesn't need to breathe, but there's this almost exhale. You can see bits of the blood kind of, spitting away from her and clinging to her lips, and her hands are like claws in this moment as she just realized if she knew, they all knew. He is going to destroy this city. He is going to destroy these people. And Amira was silent, but Kaida is not. And she turns to Friday. And before the memories can go away, go too far from her grasp, she starts to just outpour all the information, starts to say everything that Amira witnessed and did nothing about. And in what is ashes, she spits. Another Eve in my garden. And just looks at Friday.
And that is where we'll close this episode of Bloom in Blood. Excellent. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for enjoying this episode of Bloom and Blood. Everyone's having a small heart attack. It's awesome. We'll go around the table, let everyone know our pertinence and all that good stuff. So we'll begin in the reverse order, down to my bottom right. Remy.
This was Asterisk VTuber, or Aster. Playing Remy, the very actually bruised and damaged Nephilim Toreador. But we'll just cover that up and continue on and move along, you know?
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. Moving over to my bottom left, Lola.
Wow, hi, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on all the social medias, including on Twitch where I stream. I also do the social media for Rolling Nomads. So this post that go out, that's me. This time zone, I've had the pleasure of being Lola Torres, the pretty treasonous Malkavian Primogen.
Oh, cool. So we're bidding to treason. Got it. Cool. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Up to my top right, Kaida.
Hey, gang. We've been through it tonight, haven't we? I am the Rissa Rave. You can find me all over the internet as such, on all the platforms, doing all the things, mainly TTRPGs. I also have a YouTube channel where I do ASMR-styled readings of my favorite books, usually just a chapter or two. I promise I will be uploading soon. And tonight I played Kaida, who is very full. She's just so full. And treason. I don't know her.
Crimes all around. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. And last but certainly not least, up to my top left, Friday.
Yippee, I'm Abby. I'm your local Diné nerd. You can catch me at most places on the internet at Enough of Abby, where I'm doing cultural consultations, I'm doing sensitivity readings. But more importantly, I'm telling amazing stories with folks just like this. You can catch me on this channel quite a bit. I love the folks here. They do some amazing work, and you should check out everyone's work here, quite frankly. But if you want to see more of me, check me out on the Hype Goblin, where I'm a part of the all homebrew D&D podcast, Left in Chaos, where I'm playing yet another winged monstrosity. And tune in for next week when I execute Ramos in front of a live studio audience, because what the fuck?
Excellent. So thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure. I have been your storyteller.
I'm gonna get you.
I know. I have been your storyteller for tonight's Chronicle. Gilbert Ramos, aka Ramos the Nomad, everywhere on the social medias. I'm CEO and founder of Rolling Nomads, and this has been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm very pleased. I'm gonna be murdered. It's gonna be awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Same place, same treasonous kindred. We'll see you then.